Good morning, Tina.
Good morning.
Today I'm joined by you, and I'm lucky.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to talk about everything that has to do with headache at workplace. We're going to talk also about contracts, if they are done in a way that protects mental health. We're going to talk about also mental health, why it isn't having its right share in the market compared to physical health.
Yeah.
Though mental health is, we feel that it's a trend now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to get more aware about its importance.
Yeah.
And let me start first by saying that my guest is Tina Mistry. Are you a mystery, Tina?
I am to a lot of people, but then once you get to know me, I'm an open book. So I'm very, open, and I want to share my thoughts and my ideas with the world, because we all are connecting, and we're all, like you said, Rima, we're talking about mental health. And I've been in the practice for over 15 years. So my background is I'm a clinical psychologist, but now I want to change the way that I work and use my experience to think about the broader things on how to have a much bigger impact. So the things that I see that often are missing is that we have to be looking at organizations as a whole and how we can support organizations to start to make sustainable, impactful changes for their employees, because it's all good and well that we could have somebody who gets access to therapy, but that's them and them working on themselves as an individual level.
Yes, before we start unpacking the secrets, let's say, of institutions, or what lies behind contracts, or why aren't we aware enough about mental health in institutions? And we as people are becoming more aware about that also, because we are suffering a lot inside institutions.
Yeah.
And I don't know why everything that is not quite tangible and direct as illness is taken for granted, as if everybody is under stress, everybody has fatigue. But this takes some people to dark places, and even take the institution sometimes to less growth and less productivity as well. And we don't know that this is the secret that lies behind the environment that is toxic, or that make us tired. Before we unpack all these points that I'm really enthusiastic about talking to you about them, I just want you to introduce yourself in the way you love to do it, because I don't want to miss any achievement that you have done.
Okay. So I trained as a clinical psychologist in the UK. So I had a bachelor's in psychology that I did for 3 years. Then I took a year out to do placement. And then I went on to do a doctorate in clinical psychology. The reason why I went into this field was mainly because I was interested in why people feel the way they do. Why do people hurt? Why do people experience depression? And I saw it within my own family. I saw people that were hurting, but we didn't have the language. I'm from an Indian background. My mother tongue is Gujarati. There was no word for anxiety. There was no word for depression. People just accepted that they would go through these things. They wouldn't really talk about it, brush it under the carpet.
Undefined darkness that you go through.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly it. So I really wanted to go into a field where I could actually make a difference somehow. I don't know how, but I felt like that was my kind of calling, if you want to call it that.
But from all what you have seen during this past, what can you say about our perception to mental health, our perception to mental health compared to the tangible illnesses of the physical health? Even the chronic illnesses that they have big importance in certain work contract, for example, or these, they talk about they talk about the problems. I mean, even all the problems that you face at work that has to do with direct physical harassment are stated. They have laws, they are there. But there's something else that we experience that is never talked about. That is our stress. Somebody fighting us not to grow, somebody isolating us, ignoring our progress, ignoring our effort. I want to talk about all this. I don't know really from where to start, but I know that you can say a lot about everything.
We can, and you've got loads of stories that you
Tell
want
me
to
first
share.
about what you have seen.
Oh, where do I start? There's so much, isn't there? And as you were talking, it was making me think about how we have progressed. We have progressed as a society of how we're seeing mental health. So mental health before is invisible. Like we can't physically see when somebody is not themselves. There might be a few markers, like they might not be smiling as much, and these small subtle things. But I think that as a society, we just chose to ignore mental health for whatever reason. Now, I think that this is a kind of issue that we have faced because there became a point in society where it was all about production and growth and earning money, making things, industrial revolution. It was all of that. Like, yes. It was about
the machine that should keep going.
Yes, exactly. I think there was almost a point where we dehumanized society as a result, because we became so obsessed with production and growth and empires and, you name it, that there was something that took us away from our essential human core. And why I'm saying that is because I'm kind of going slightly off topic, but if we look back at our scriptures, our, anything to do with our religion, all of that brings us back to how we handle our emotional, psychological, mental well-being. It guides us back there. So
it's the black box that we
That's it. Yes. So that wisdom has always been there. But what's happened is, because of our human evolution, we then put that to one side and said, right, we must produce and we must shape the world and we must, become almost like robots, and put aside our core sense of being human, which is to feel, to love, to connect, to, do all the things that our religions talk about. So there was this huge shift, and I still feel like that in many ways we are still operating from this, what I call kind of the headspace, the thinking, the doing, rather than the feeling, the connecting. We would be seeing human beings as human beings. We wouldn't be expecting human beings to work long hours, sat in front of computers, tolerating abuse or microaggressions. We wouldn't be expecting humans to tolerate the amount of pressure that we do see in the workplace today. Let's be real. If we saw people as thinking, feeling, emotional, connecting human beings, I feel like no, they don't. Why? The reason is because we don't see the direct link. What we have a lot of evidence is for when a human is productive by doing, churning out a report or, getting a deliverable done. But actually, that's just the one piece of the jigsaw puzzle. The other pieces are what actually allows that person to function at their best. What are the conditions and the environmental conditions that person needs to be able to produce that report? And this is physical and emotional, relational and social. All of these things need to happen. But because they are invisible or not, we don't see the direct links, because you can't. There's no way you could measure the direct link. It's often done through different, various routes. We don't put emphasis on helping to shape and create an environment that is going to be conducive for productivity. I'm not saying all companies are like this.
Yes.
I think that we are starting to see a shift in organizations who are prioritizing this. However, as we know, when we're trying to create environments that do this, it comes at a cost. This costs the business.
Yes. What's the cost?
To be able to create an environment for productivity.
Yes.
It can be limitless. And I think that this is the struggle that we have in organizations is, do I focus on just trying to get deliverables done and bare minimum cost, basic
yes.
healthcare, good enough workplaces?
I thought you were saying that there's a cost in creating a healthy environment.
There will be a cost.
Which one is bigger? The cost of not being aware of it, or the cost of creating the right place so I feel that I can produce and achieve and be in harmony with the others?
Well, I know the cost if you don't do this is $1 trillion US dollars. So what that figure is about the cost of poor mental health within the workplace. That's how much it costs productivity. So we know what it actually costs if you don't do this. And this is currently draining across all of, organizations. We know this is happening.
Are they realizing the main reason? I mean, are they touching this reason or not yet?
Well, if they started to see this, then of course they would all be doing something about it. But again, who's holding who accountable? You see, this is another issue. So
this what the law should take care of. I mean, the style of the contracts now. Sometimes I dream that contracts are co-authored by psychologists. Maybe they should be. Now, psychologists and lawyers should handle the contract, not just lawyers.
Absolutely. Why do you say that? I'm curious to hear
because,
your thoughts.
No, what I want to say, I don't want to appear as if I'm looking for the ideal world. I really want to make the businessman or the entrepreneur or the organization or the company feel that there is an amount, I don't want to say cash, I want to say profit, that can come in if everybody inside this institution feels, I don't want to say happy or feels okay, able to work as they should. They're not machines that they can stay far beyond the time limit of work each day. They're not harassed, if I can say, by many. And usually when by saying harassment, you only talk about sexual harassment and aggression, maybe, and the loud bullying. But there's something even more mean sometimes. Things that you cannot accuse.
Exactly.
That you don't have evidence for.
Exactly. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Oh, where do we start? Okay. So why, and I love the fact that you've said, we should have psychologists or people who are experts in human behavior to be part of writing the policy and the regulation or even the contracts for organizations and their contract that they have with the employee. Why? Because these experts know what people need in order to flourish and to get the best out of human beings. Because, when you think about it, every organization, what is their most important asset?
And the people.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah. So we have people.
The human beings. It's the most important tool.
Exactly.
Let's say.
Yes. So biggest asset, the tool is the human, the person. Then we have enablers like technology and processes. So we need to get these three things right. And I'm interested when you said we don't necessarily need people to be happy, we need them to be okay. I'm going to challenge you on that. Why should we be satisfied with just okay? Because just okay...
We're not even reaching it. Because that's why I say that. Because we're not. Because when you talk to any business institution, I mean, they care only about what will they do from this company, the objectives, the planning. They don't see you as someone who has feelings or who's not fine or who's carrying problems at work. If you nag a lot, or if you appear to be sad a lot, or if you are the negative, we call it the negative person at work, they start thinking about replacing you.
Yes.
Rather than giving you a chance or listening or trying to check how much you can give to this work. I'm always trying to make this person who is in charge feeling that if I'm fine and working for you, I'll be giving you more and you'll be succeeding more. This line, he cannot see this line. He can see you as, I don't want to be hard on that, but he can see you as someone who can be replaced anytime.
Yeah. And that's, again, such a difficult position to be in. Because what you're saying is essentially that the employer doesn't want to do the work to get the best out of you. And they're not seeing the opportunity of growth.
Yes.
And it made me think a little bit about...
Some of them I heard them say, we're not a clinic here.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to achieve. We need to go on. But if what is toxic is inside this institution, whoever comes in the place of someone else will go to the same dark place again. I mean, why don't you try to build a team that stays with you a long time, and a team that knows that I'm secure here? I want to think more for this institution because I'm loyal to it. I mean, all these feelings, they are important. They are, I mean, I don't know how we can say it. Maybe we can say they are even liquidated or transformed as money if we want to talk about it in a business eye. These feelings are of profit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That people are, or the employees are just, I use the word, you're just a number, you're replaceable tomorrow, like you said. And I think that's the sad part about how, especially I feel within this region where there is a lot of, transient population coming and going. That's the hard part that all of us have to accept, that because of the nature of how people flow, come in, come out, leave the country, come back, and so forth, that then this has then by default created an acceptance that I could hire somebody in replace of Rima tomorrow. Yes. Whether she's good, doesn't matter, but I can replace her to do the job that we expect her to do. So it's that piece. It's seeing you just as a robot, as only to require you to do a function, and not see you as something or someone who could grow and accelerate the organization. It's very mechanical. When you think about it, you're just there as like a nut or a bolt or a fixture or a piece within the car. That's how they see the organization. But I challenge organizations. I think we should be looking at organizations like a living organism, like a plant or a tree or a forest. Why? Because when you plant a seed, you give it the right conditions, the soil, the sunlight, the right level of water, nourishment. What happens? It grows and it blooms. And then imagine lots of different seeds like that.
That is, every detail matters.
Exactly.
Even if they see mental health as a detail.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just one component that if they took care of, it would change. And we know the evidence is there that over the past 15, 20 years, there has been actual scientific research which has proven and shown that if organizations invest in the mental health and well-being, overall holistic well-being of their employees, it will impact on their productivity, on their business growth.
How many changed their way?
Not enough, unfortunately. That's the problem. Not enough. And I think the challenge we have is that when the economy is affected for whatever reason, wars,
would they link it to this?
Well, they won't necessarily link it, but the first budget that often gets cut is the well-being budget, is the diversity, equality, inclusion budget. It's all what I think businesses see as the fluffy nice-to-haves, not the core things that people need essentially to run an organization.
What is the percentage that you give to a mental health presence that is safe and human inside an organization to progress? What's the percentage of the importance that you give to it?
Okay, so let me reframe that for you. In order for us to survive as human beings in any context, what is it that you need? What word comes up?
To me, safe, in harmony with others.
That's it. Yeah.
Being myself.
So you've
being
said
able to be
exactly.
myself.
So you use the word safe,
yes.
And that is the core aspect that we all, as human beings, need as a baseline. So I'm referring to Maslow's hierarchy.
Who's feeling it these days?
Exactly. Now,
but Tina, we're not feeling it in a marriage. How is it good to feel? How is it possible to see it in a workplace? I mean, there's something about this era anyway.
Yeah, interesting.
Don't you think so?
I agree. There are lots of things that are making us feel unsafe,
yes.
right, around in the world. But I would also urge each and every one of us to think about how do we create safety. So not only physical safety with our walls and our roofs, but also we use the term psychological safety.
Believing we are.
We should.
Believing we are safe. We need to believe it. We need to feel it.
Exactly. So how do we then feel? How do we feel psychologically safe? What's going to give you the impression that I'm sat across Tina and she's making me feel safe? You'll feel it.
Yes, I feel it.
Yeah.
But not feeling it cannot be proven also if I want to move to what happens in workplace. Especially the Gen Z now, they are suffering a lot from what I hear. They're not well understood. They are even their effort is ignored. They are even very fast and able to change, which creates a clash inside the generation, inside a certain institution. And there's not always these people that are ready to hold your hand or to admire what you have and maybe learn even from this new generation. I mean, some people don't accept that learning is something that we exchange.
Yeah. There was a paper that I read a while ago about how generational conflict has always existed. But what we're doing better now is we're better at naming the conflicts that happen between the generations. And they're expected because if you think about the boomer generation, the millennial generation, Gen X and whoever, each generation had to cope with the resources that they had at the time.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to accept that.
Yes.
That they did the very best they could based on what they had. And then as generations evolve, so as we have evolved as societies, we've got more things to help us. We've got technology and media to help us to share and disseminate information and to learn at a much quicker rate. We've got AI now. Most children, in the Gen Z generation are computer literate. They are born, they are natives with technology, compared to, let's say, people in my generation and the generation above me where we struggle. And
the shift is faster.
Of course
now.
It is. And we have to accept that they are going to have much more of an in-depth understanding of the world as it presents today than we do. They are going to be more in tune with technology and how to make the best of it better than we do. They're going to have access to information and academia much faster and better than we do today.
The perception, the angles of analyzing are different.
Absolutely. We have to and I love the fact that you said that, Tina, we need to see learning as a reciprocal, a two-way, bi-directional process.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
We should accept that. I mean, we're blessed to have a generation that we can learn from.
Absolutely. And this is one thing that I have felt is that I've been inspired by the movements that have been created by Gen Z. They are so much more vocal. They are so much more aware of things that are bigger than themselves. Like, for example, climate change. You know? Like, for example, things around, fast fashion, for example. They start movements, and I'm not saying that, older generations haven't, but I feel like we're at a point where this generation is able to shine a light on things that feel unjust. And we can follow, we can listen, we can learn.
But who's guilty here? I don't think the old generation is guilty. I think the environment of the work.
This is not
trying
to
create a certain competition or threats that people live with. Maybe if someone is really fast and he knows a lot and he has a way, I have to, as an owner or as a manager, to create a place saying that everybody is needed for a different, equally important mission.
Exactly.
Are they doing so?
No. We know this. Why? Because we're not taking the time to get to know our employees. We're not trying to build the bridges to connect with them. And, you use the word, this is not a clinic, my job as a manager isn't to therapize or offer therapy to my
Not
employees.
my responsibility.
Yeah. Actually, it is your responsibility to enable your workforce.
Yes.
Enable, not offer them therapy. They can go somewhere else for that, of course. But enable them. Give them the gift of coaching and mentoring, whatever that might look like. Give them the gift of applying your skills and wisdom, what you have learned, and teach them or share with them. And they can reciprocate back and say, I've read this paper, or I've read this, or I've learned this, or I've seen this. And it's a conversation. That's where progress happens.
Yes.
And what you're doing in that micro environment is creating psychological safety, because what you're saying is, I see you and you see me. And at a neuroscientific level within our brain, what's happening is that you are no longer creating that psychological barrier between you and the person. So our brains feel like I'm safe, so I can calm my nervous system down, and I can be open and I can be creative. This is what the neuroscience tells us, that when we feel psychologically safe, that is when the most creative, innovative, most kind of out-of-the-box thinking occurs. But if you create an environment where I don't feel psychologically safe, I'm going to shut down and I'm going to be in my fight, flight, and freeze response.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you the best of me.
Indirectly creating conflicts and even wars between employees sometimes.
Exactly.
But let's take a look at the contracts now. The deals that we do at work, the agreements that we sign. Are we protected? Is this mentioned? I mean, how should it be mentioned anyway?
The tricky part is the invisible aspect of this. So let's take the example of physical health, okay? We know that if the employer causes harm, whether it be, poisonous gases in the air in my work environment, I will have a physical response to whatever's in the air. Or if, the floor was uneven and I tripped over, right?
Yes.
And I broke my leg or I twisted my ankle or something. You physically can see that, okay? And as an employer, you can physically then make the changes based on what's happening in your physical environment. So we have all of the health and safety regulations around that.
Picture is clear.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nice and simple. Now, the challenge we have is that what we're talking about is not necessarily visible to everybody. And often it is one person's experience versus the other.
We relate it to character even. We don't relate it to problems, psychological problems.
Exactly.
We cannot know how to differentiate anyway. What's being mean and what's being sick.
Yes. But I'm going to challenge that. Why? Because we need to operationalize and categorize what is mean. We have to be able to explicitly say this is, toxic management. I know this is such a trendy term that everyone likes to use, or maybe slightly overused term. But what does that look like? How do we, word for word, operationalize that and say this is what it is? If you notice or see these behaviors, we need to now start to log and challenge this and eradicate it. It's a bit like a code of conduct in a school, okay?
Yes.
We send our children to school. The school have a code of conduct for the children, and they also have a code of conduct for themselves as an organization. So this is the contract that we have. School set expectations for how they expect the children to behave and show up in the workplace. Similarly, we have these types of contracts within our organizations of how they expect employees to behave. Now, we need to explicitly be clear on what the expectations of managers are and employees are when it comes to trying to create psychological safe environments.
Yes.
We have to be proactive in listing that out and measuring that and showing that we are, as an organization, trying to eradicate And how we eradicate is through creating clear policy, clear guidance, but also to show that we are doing external things like trying to create positive culture, creating connection, trying to create opportunities where we can connect to each other through team building.
But contracts and policies, they show a lot of the awareness or the way of thinking of the people behind. Some words are key. For example, respect.
Yes.
Is it mentioned?
Yeah.
Emotionally emotionally safe.
Yes.
Is it mentioned? Verbally rewarded or motivated. Sometimes they think that the right thing to do is not to tell you that you're doing good.
Yeah.
Maybe you relax and you don't do more. I mean, I don't know from where do they bring certain ways of leading. And what is the healthy leadership? Where does it show in a contract?
Yeah.
How does it show in a contract?
It has to be written. We have to put this down explicitly. And we have to do the work, like you said, using people who have a training in psychology to help shape this guidance. And it's not only enough just to put it down on paper. KPIs. Show that you are being monitored and being held accountable.
But how can I bring evidence to something that is not seen? You said we can hold someone accountable for a certain environment that caused physical damage. We can easily see that. We can easily transform the place or make it better or make some corrections. But what is unseen, how can we prove it's happening to us? How can we prove that we're not fine at work? How can we prove that a coworker is giving us hard times? How can we prove that we are behind something and our name is not mentioned when they're uploading to someone? I mean, this happens a lot.
It does.
We're ignored.
Yeah.
The effort is ignored. This is very painful, by the way.
Yeah.
The ignored effort is very painful. And how can we complain that we're asked to stay over the time limit that is needed at work? We're canceling our gym. We're canceling our social life. And not being rewarded neither in money nor verbally.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying that much. Thank you for doing all this job. We're feeling that you're one of us in this team.
Yeah.
How can we talk about things that are not seen? And how can we hold someone accountable for hurting us? How can we put this in a contract?
This needs to be shared and become explicit.
What's the proof? He would say, what's the proof?
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? The proof is that this is how you've made me feel. It's a bit like, when some things go to court, often it is one person's verbal evidence against another's. But we need to be able to justify our experiences. We need to be able to share how we honestly feel, because that's our truth.
What do you recommend as a way inside an institution? Or, why don't they do something that has to do with a certain, let's say, mental checkup that is private and that no one is afraid to talk even about the manager inside this room once a year, twice a year? Maybe they could adjust the way they are working.
Exactly. There's so many things that you can do. So, like that example, is having a confidential space to be honest, absolutely honest, without fear of repercussion. Imagine that. And imagine then that feedback being taken back and something actually happens as a result. Yeah. Now, what I'm saying is that we need to move away from this punitive culture.
Yes.
Right? We need to start to look at the root cause of why is this human being, manager, team, functioning the way they are. And that's where the psychologist comes in, because that's what they're trained in. They're trained in understanding the why, then the how, then the what we do. So if we get to the root cause of why a team leader or a manager is behaving this way, then you can start to support that person to to, number one, make them aware. Look, the way that you're coming across in meetings, or the way that you're giving feedback to certain people, or the way that you're actually not including people in certain conversations is having a profound impact. What can we do as an organization to help you to shift and change these behaviors? You give them opportunities to grow, or give them opportunities to understand that this is not the type of behavior that as an organization we agree with. And we will give you opportunities to grow. We will give you opportunities to learn. So me then, as that person who's not behaving the way that my organization would like me to, I feel safe. Okay, they've seen something. Okay, eek. But they're giving me an opportunity to change. So then my shoulders drop and I feel a little bit more relaxed. They're going to mentor me or going to coach me to be a better person, be a better manager. But what I find organizations do is they do the opposite to what they're saying. So you use the word respect, which to me is a value.
Of course.
Yeah. So when we're talking about organizations, what's your mission? What's your values? They often don't live by their values because they're not actually behaving in a respectful manner. So they'll become punitive because it's cheaper or easier. Or it's
because
just
they can.
Yeah, because they can. It's whatever it is, it's quick and easy. But actually, what is more valuable is investing in people. Give them opportunities to grow. Give them opportunities to learn. Show as your leadership, the people at the top, the C-suite, that they are living and breathing by their values. So if respect is one of the values, as somebody who's in the C-suite, I will show that I respect you. I will not shout at you. I will not make you feel less than, worthy. I will show you that I'm looking at you, even if you are a junior member of staff, and I want to respect you and know you. Walk the walk. Organizations are brilliant at talking the talk. They are brilliant.
Yes.
Because we have to show that we are doing the right thing. Now, the other issue the reason why this is so important is because if we want to be ethical, socially responsible, which is now what organizations are going to be measured up against, they have to start to ask their employees, and the employees will give them that feedback of, this is not the best place to work because I don't feel safe, and my line manager speaks to me like this. They've got to really start to listen to this, because if you think about it, if we look at all organizations across the world and people are just not happy wherever they go, they're just going to keep moving around.
Yes.
Yeah, we see the great resignation, we see quiet quitting, all of this. That has a profound impact on the economy.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's then a lot of drain for retention and recruitment and, exit, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is happening. So this constant money is being poured out. And like you said, Reem, at the beginning, it's more cost effective to hold on to your staff and invest in your staff, especially the ones that align with your values, that align with the way in which you want to create a culture of working. And that then is going to show. It shows in your social media. It shows in your marketing. It shows in your branding. And it shows because your customers or your clients will feel that.
And there's an energy. It's a certain energy.
Without a doubt.
Yes, it reflects an energy that everybody wants to be around.
Yes.
Clients, customers, other people that want to be recruited.
Exactly.
It's an energy.
Who will be your biggest advocate will be your employees.
But
They'll
it's
say...
not touched. That's why they don't see it. What is the importance of mental health really having its place in the marketplace? It's having its important place in the marketplace, because even organizations that you mentioned that have done a certain shift in the contracts or policies or the way they deal with the employees, some of them use it as a marketing image.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk well about this in media and interviews. This is important. Our employees, they should be healthy. We provide this and that. But on the ground, either they don't know how to practice it or they're practicing something else.
Yeah.
So it's even used as a marketing tool.
Yeah. And I think then that's where our Gen Z population, who are the most savviest of us all.
The honest
They're the
side.
honest.
They don't care
they
about
will see, they will see right through
They don't
that.
care about consequences, yes,
No.
when they talk.
No.
Yes.
They will see, oh, mental health day, it's a fruit bowl. Oh, great. No. They want more. They are asking for more. Why? Because their mental health, their well-being, it matters to them. Because they've seen all of us, the elder generations, burnt out, stressed, chronic illness. They're like, nah, I don't want none of that. I want to be happy, healthy. I want to live an authentic life. And this is our evolution now. Through generation by generation, we are evolving. And this generation is not going to hold back until they see change, which is wonderful. And I'm so excited for that. But organizations also need to step up. They do need to step up. They do need to take care. They do need to consider the needs of their employees. Why? Because if we don't, that whole generation of talent, they're going to end up doing their own thing.
Yes.
You won't be able to tap into the immense talent that they have.
You start losing resources, losing weapons for the company.
Exactly.
You start losing them.
All of us, we'll just die, won't we, and
Yes,
retire. We'll be
leave.
gone.
Yes.
So what about bringing in the new talent and the new generation?
But again, it's not the guilt of the older generation.
No.
It's the whole environment. I mean, when you tell everyone that you have your value, whatever you're doing, we need you here.
Yes.
We need you here. We need you're smart. You can give a lot. I mean, if you have a safe environment, everybody can fit in at the end.
Exactly. Yes. And, you talked about safety, but also another word that keeps coming up within this, within the space is belonging.
Yes.
How do we create environments where actually I can show up to work, and even though I might be older, I might have a different ethnic background, I might not speak the same language, how do you foster an environment and culture that makes me feel like I can drop my shoulders down and people accept me for who I am? I belong. I'm part of this. I'm part of this mission.
Yes.
That is, again, another crucial aspect.
I'm a partner in that business.
Yes. I'm valued and I'm seen, because this is what most, if not all, human beings want. They want to be valued and they want to be seen.
Yes. To feel safe, to belong, and to grow.
Yeah.
To grow is really important.
Yeah.
This is what we don't feel sometimes in institutions. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of rejection sometimes to reach the place where we can tell everyone that really we really deserve this place. You have to see us.
And it shouldn't necessarily have to be a fight.
No, it has been a fight all the way.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. Imagine going into a workplace where as soon as you arrive, even before you arrive, the onboarding process, the interview process, you're excited. You feel like that people are interested in you and are curious about the skills and the opportunities that you can provide for the organization. You've done your interview. You meet your manager's excited. There's this real sense of, this is what I really want to do. And then the first day you enter, you're greeted, everything is like, you're thought about, you've got your name, on your desk or whatever that might be, and people are orienting you. And you then are getting stuck into understanding the business. It's like, we want that experience that we get when we go to a hotel, a luxury hotel. Imagine that.
I like the example.
Of work.
Tell me how.
You, as the employee, are the customer.
Yes.
And I use the word human-centric organizations. And I mean that. Because what I mean is, if we start to think about businesses and them putting emphasis on the employee or the human at the center, and design from there, imagine what that's going to feel like. Like, why do we pay to go to these lovely spas and, gorgeous hotels? Because we want to feel. We want to feel seen. We want to give ourselves an experience. Okay, so we're paying for that transaction. Granted. Now what hospitality is doing is going one step further and really personalizing things. Why? Because we as customers are expecting more. And this is the same evolution that's happening within the workplace. We're expecting more. No longer are we expecting just a paycheck at the end of the month.
Even your mental health, or the way you express yourself, or the way you deal with people outside the job, is a kind of a reputation for the job itself. It creates a certain perception, image about the place you are working in. It does.
Yes. So I talk about the idea of dropping a stone in a pond, in the water. Okay? That stone goes in, and what causes? Ripple effect. And, it's sad because you see this everywhere. That people return from work after, 8-9 hours. They give all their energy, their heart and soul to their work. They come home, they're exhausted. And the people that they love the most, the family, they don't have energy to give to them.
They're exhausted, yes.
They're exhausted.
And
that's
drained.
sad.
Again, they cannot. They're not able to give at home when they are that much.
And that's
drained from
again
work.
the wrong way round.
Yes, but who cares? This is what you hear.
Yeah.
Who cares? As long as that we're making money, we're competing other organizations. We're looking at a bigger and bigger project, and we're not hiring more employees. They can do all the job. It's okay. We see this. We see this a lot. Now I want to move to the other side of the picture. There's sometimes also this saying, I don't go to my job. I don't go to my company. It's home. It's family.
Oh.
So is this the beautiful picture? Is this the beautiful and good picture?
I'm taking a deep breath here because I get a really cringe feeling when people say work is family.
Why?
Because we have this rosy perception that family is perfect and family is safe. Actually, no. Family can be dysfunctional. Family can be unsafe as well.
Abusive, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is family to a certain degree, and I use this certain degree in putting it out there, is somewhat unconditional. Like we will support our family members
no matter what.
Potentially, right? There's going to be a point where you're going to say, class, enough is enough. I really can't do this. To a bigger, higher limit,
yes.
More. We're more tolerant, okay?
Yes.
Because we have that biological and emotional tie. Work is not family because those emotional and biological ties do not exist. They will get rid of you, and you potentially will get rid of them as soon as you get the right opportunity to leave, and they have the right opportunity to dismiss you.
So it's a fake sentence?
Absolutely.
I mean, doesn't it reflect a healthy environment? When I say I'm okay.
No.
I had lunch with my colleague before yesterday. Our manager is inviting us to this place every week. We're family.
I think the terminology.
And sometimes the employees they can't find they don't have boundaries. I mean, this is mixed with the job itself. Fine, I can not have to stick to deadlines. We can do it next week. We said it yesterday over dinner. We have time. So you feel that it's a bit it's a shaky ground.
Exactly. So this is where we need to be really, really clear on what is work and our relationships at work. And this is what I also expect from us across society. We should know who our friends are and define that. We should know who our acquaintances are and define that. We should know who our colleagues are and define that. And understand the boundaries between them. Yes, okay, our work colleagues can then become friends. We can yes, of course, merge into
sometimes that. Sometimes it's natural, yes.
Yes. But we also need to have these explicit conversations. If, for example, Rima, I ask you for a piece of work and we had a discussion, like you said, over dinner, and we kind of just,
She's a friend, it's okay,
yeah,
she can
it's
wait.
okay. She can wait, yeah. She'll be
She will
all right.
understand. She will understand. Yes.
But actually, that's when the awkwardness kicks in. When I come to your desk and say, Rima, you know that piece of work that I asked for a few weeks ago, where is it? Or maybe I wouldn't even feel like I could even have that conversation with you because I don't want to upset you and I don't want to ruin our friendship.
Depending on the people, yes.
Exactly. So we have to be really, really mindful about relationships at work and how they are blurry. And we have to make the unconscious conscious. You know, it's really important to have this type of conversation, to say that work relationships and the way in which we connect to each other whilst we're in the working environment is different. Yes, okay, you can have a bit of banter. Yes, you can have a joke and a laugh. Yes, you can share, you know, some intimate things if you feel safe enough because you see them as somebody trustworthy and you need somebody to talk to, right? We're encouraging this within the workplace, within boundaries. Within boundaries, so that if, for example, I disclose to you, Rima, I think I'm feeling very anxious. I keep panicking every time my boss comes up to me or asks me about something. But because I trust you, Rima, and I see you as my friend, my expectation to you is that you wouldn't use that against me. You wouldn't say and share that
but
with me.
I can win the war if I use it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Depending on the people and their ethics.
Absolutely. And this again...
But it's risky.
Of course it is. Of course. And this is why... But again, this can happen within the family dynamic, right?
It
you could be my cousin. I could say this to you.
They can be siblings.
See? Yeah.
They can be from direct family.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we can't
Depends
use the
on
same
people.
analogy.
Yes.
I feel like that we're almost trying to... We're trying to fluff things up at work by saying work is family. I really feel like we have to be better at using language. We've got such amazing words in Arabic, in you know, all the different languages we speak.
It can be a warm place, a healthy place, but
it doesn't necessarily have to be family.
Take it for granted in a way, maybe.
Exactly.
Or become more loose in submitting your responsibilities.
Exactly.
If I still want to be on the other side, on the side of the employees, or what we as employees might be guilty about or wrong about. When we look at contracts, we look at the salary,
yes,
the days off, the holidays, and how much we're insured or stuff like that.
Yes.
We don't look at what's maybe between the lines or the clauses that are not there, that should somehow take care of our mental health and psychological health. We don't see it. We're not aware of it. Do we know our rights? Do we know how to create a healthy agreement from the side of the employees also? We're only focused on money. And this is natural because we need to live and life is becoming hard. But what we're not looking at will cost us more.
Correct. Absolutely. And I think that this is now where we're starting to see the conversation turn a little bit more. So if, as employees, we're demanding more from our employers, therefore then we need to be more explicit. So like with health and safety back in the day, factories and, you know, places of work, they were unsafe places to be in. Like people would die, right, when they were on site or construction sites or whatever, right? These things happen. And it was only because we started to advocate for change that then it became law. It became, you know, written in the policies. It started to become black and white. That's when we started to see the change. And I see the change happening for our mental health. That we have already law, but it's very loose, okay? And it's very ambiguous, so we can read between the lines and it may or may not. But I think with time, the more and more we start to become more educated about what is the expectation that I should be having from my employer to take care of my mental health. And this isn't necessarily about placing all of it 100% of the responsibility on the organization.
Yes.
We have to be really mindful that mental health doesn't occur in a vacuum. There's a genetic component. Of course, there's a relational component. There's a
Community pressure.
community, societal, political, all of these aspects, they impact our mental health, but also our physical health. It's both, mind-body connection. So it's not a simple clause that we can write and say, okay, this, in the case of this. It's complex, but we have to hold in mind that people will come with maybe a genetic predisposition to schizophrenia when they turn up in the workplace. They might have ADHD. They might have post-traumatic stress.
And this might be triggered by any condition inside.
Exactly. So again, as employers, how are we doing our due diligence to know the employees that are coming into the workforce? And again, I'm going to go but one step further. How many people feel safe enough to even disclose it?
Yes.
Because I can guarantee you,
People
will not.
No one states it.
Do
you have any mental illness? No.
No. Yeah, we won't. Why?
Because they will not let us in.
There we go.
We have no place if we say yes.
There we go.
They want us to lie.
Yeah.
And this is a problem not of institution. It's a huge problem. It's a community issue. It's a governmental issue.
Correct. Yeah. I am hopeful. I've always been hopeful.
We should state it right before
Yes.
we move to something
Yes,
else.
we
We should
should.
say we have a mental issue.
Of course we should.
But how can we get the job? Tina, we will never get the job.
Okay.
I mean,
If my employer knew that I had a heart murmur, okay, and I'm on medication and I'm managing it, would you employ me still? Yeah? Okay.
But how can we kill the stigma?
We have to protect each other. We have to protect the organizations and the employees. We have law. We need to have law. Look, and again, we've still got a long way to go when it comes to dismantling the stigma and shame around mental illness. Okay, and I'm talking specifically illness here. So let's think about conditions like bipolar, depression, clinical depression. We have people currently in the workplace with a diagnosed mental health condition. They all exist.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think the statistic is 1 in 4 will have anxiety or depression at some point. That's a really high percentage, okay?
1 in 5?
And for a mental illness, I think
Yes.
it's 1 in 5, I think.
Yes.
And depending on, what type of mental illness, we're talking about like schizophrenia is far less, and bipolar and maybe a personality disorder is a little bit more common. People don't disclose, number one. So we don't actually know that Tina has got a condition of bipolar disorder. And if I behave a little bit erratically, you probably think, what's up with her? What's wrong with her? Why is she behaving in a fun, weird way? I'm having a bad day. Maybe my medication just isn't quite right for me at the moment. Or I'm extremely stressed. However, if I had disclosed to you, Rima, I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and there's times where I'm going to behave slightly erratically because I'm under a lot of pressure. I need this, this, and this in order for me to cope. I am managing. I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I've got a psychologist, and I'm on medication.
It takes very high-level community to say that, because if you're saying it and I'm listening to you, maybe in some places, this will be the secret that I will reveal and make any friends reunion funny, or by talking about someone behind his back and saying as if he has done something wrong by being sick. This happens.
Yeah.
I mean, who dares to reveal? This is his right to reveal.
Yes.
This is his right. And whoever he is talking to has another issue that is also damaging and hard and handling it in his life. But when we listen to others, we always look at ourselves as if we're the perfect creatures.
Exactly. I'm so glad you
Listening
pointed
to
that out.
Haram, he's sick, she's sick. She has
Exactly.
this issue. She would have done this job. This, don't give her this mission because she has this and that and that, and she won't submit the job on time. Don't
Correct.
delegate. When you are delegating responsibilities, please just take care of her case. We always talk about them as if they are pathetic.
Correct.
About us, let me say that we're pathetic.
Yes.
We all have issues.
Yes. But we also know that there are many people, celebrities, who have shared their mental health struggles.
Yes.
And they are doing incredible things.
Maybe because they are stars.
They've got the platform to
This
do
is the
so.
perception. I mean, I'm trying to talk to myself, I'm trying to talk to myself in front of you. Maybe you can cure me on the way they see things. Maybe because you are a star, this allows you to do anything. Whatever you do makes you more a hero. But in our daily life, as a regular employee or someone is working hard to reach a good place, to grow, he cannot talk about his illness or his weakness or him being tired sometimes. It's perceived differently.
I disagree.
Great. This is nice.
Because I think that when you are in the public eye, the pressure is 10x. The pressure to perform, you should know this, I'm sure you know this, that in media, let's say, for example, you have to look like you are perfectly happy all the time. Whereas Tina, who's going to work in her
excessive
office,
lies.
yeah, but
Yes.
that's it. You're smiling constantly, having a
Yes.
smile. And Tina in the office, she can have a bad day if she wants to, because no one's really going to notice. But Rima, who's in the spotlight, you've got much, much more pressure than me to perform.
But let's monetize each character. If a certain star goes and talks about his illness, this will make everybody look for his talks, his speeches, follow him. He start to be of impact.
Yes.
He doesn't want to get the cure. Maybe to talk more about this. But if I have an organization and I want to hire someone, would I really be looking for what's good in this person, or looking what this person can give me despite his struggle? Will I be looking like this at him? This is what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, the society, even itself, we tend to like what's shining, even if it's tired. Shining, being next to him, will make you reach a good market.
Yes.
But having someone that I hire for certain missions, and she always, for example, this is what they say, nags about a situation, nags about disturbance or trouble or whatever.
Yeah. And you know, when we look at those people, I like to call them the disruptors, because they feel safe enough to criticize and challenge. They challenge the status quo. They challenge what everybody else just blindly accepts. They're disrupting. They're saying, hang on, this isn't right.
It's a silent bullying.
Exactly. How you are treating all of us, because they're advocating for everybody, is not right. Now, it's that whole concept of, do we blindly follow like sheep, or do we start to create change? And look, there's so many debates around this of what is doable and what's not. And everybody's got different circumstances. Some people have bills to pay. Some people need to stay in the job for whatever reason. Where some other people who fight the good fight do it because it's more than just about them. They do it because maybe they want to stand up for women in the workplace. You see?
There will be a reason.
Yeah, of course there will. It's just, there's going to be because you do not start challenging an organization for no reason. I don't believe that.
Yes.
And because you feel that you are right, you will do something about it. And you have 3 choices. You fight, You run away, leave the job, or you just accept, head down.
Accept the destruction,
Correct.
self-destruction.
Accept it. But find ways to cope through it, whatever that takes.
What are the most common conditions of at workplaces, psychological conditions?
So the two words that I hear all the time are stress and burnout. Now, if
Burnout,
you imagine,
yes.
burnout is like the consequence of chronic stress. And when we use the word quite, again, fluidly, stress and burnout aren't diagnosable mental health conditions. They are what we call consequences of high pressure environments. So you can experience stress as a caregiver. You can experience stress as in other environments. So stress is actually just a very normal part of our life. And actually stress can be a good thing for us as well, because it's in a way activating us to do something. So let's take, for example, if you didn't experience any level of stress, how likely would it be that you would then go and revise for an exam?
It's a good catalyst, as we say.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
it's a good catalyst, but to a certain extent.
Exactly. So what point? So often the imagery that we share when it comes to talking about stress is like a curve, and there becomes a point where stress gets too high and unmanageable for the person because they don't have the resources to manage the stress. So if we know, let's say, Rima, I'm asking you to do this, 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 and this, and I need it done by 2 weeks' time. You will then make an internal calculation. Okay, Tina's asked for this, this, and this in 2 weeks. Right. What do I have within my internal resources and my external resources to be able to deliver what Tina has asked me?
Scheduling tasks. Doing a certain.
Okay. Yeah. So you
organizing.
Yes. Delegation. Blah blah blah. So you'll know based on the ask, based on the demand, whether you can then do this, and that will then relate or result in your level of stress. Okay, you'll have some bit of stress because I've given you a timeline, 2 weeks, class, you need to get it done. If you do not have enough resources to meet the demands, what's going to happen to your stress level? You're going to be sweating, and you're going to get anxious and panicking and thinking, I've got no team members to support me, and I haven't got the tools, and I don't have the computer.
You feel as if you're collapsing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is the exact thing that happens. Now, that is what we would call a short-term level of stress. It happens once every 2-3 months. Tina asks for this, deadline to be done, this particular project to be done. That's okay because it's short bursts. And hopefully in time you'll learn that, okay, I need to ask for help, or I need to get this done in place, or I need to build on resources. Or you can talk to me and say, Tina, I haven't got this, this, and this. Can you help me get this in order for me to then deliver what you need? Okay? That is fine because it's short and it helps you to get your job done. What we're seeing now within workplaces is the stress has become chronically ingrained. So people are constantly feeling that sense of, I need to, or I can't. Exactly. You physically will feel it in your body. You'll turn up to work and your heart will start racing because your body has started to recognize that your place of work is a place of stress. It's actually making you sick.
Yes.
And what the sad part is that people think that that's okay and that's normal. And if left unrecognized...
They tell you good words about it. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
You're learning. This is part of the growth. You have to suffer to grow. You have to learn from your mistakes. You have to feel that you are urged to do more.
Yeah.
They give you good words about getting killed. You're getting killed. Stress kills you.
Yes, it does.
Yes, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you just exactly said exactly what is the message within society about when people ask about work. 9 times out of 10, people will ask, oh, how's work going? Busy, busy. Yeah, but good. Busy, but good. Nobody ever says, yeah, things are going well. We've got enough going. I'm feeling good in my, headspace. I'm managing things. Busy is now the buzzword. If you don't say you're busy, people will think, what's wrong with you? You're not doing enough.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll see you.
I call them the devilishly positive statements.
Yes.
But they're devilish.
Yes. Yeah.
We should stop lying to ourselves.
Yes.
Lying or abiding by the picture that you or the other want us to look like. I mean,
it's glamorizing.
You have to listen
it,
to yourself
yeah.
from the inside.
Glamorizing stress.
Yes. The busy woman, the busy
Yeah.
man. They have no time.
Yeah. And that's wrong. That's wrong because, like you said, Rima, stress will kill you.
Yes, it can. It can. But since we talked about the legal vision or the authority that a manager or a boss or an owner has, sometimes we should talk also about the way some employees or some of us maybe play on this side rather than being honest about it.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes we abuse a certain condition.
Okay.
I'm tired, I'm sick, I posted this here and there. People are impressed about what you posted. Are you okay here at work? Is it all fine? I mean, now in the social media era, you can create an image for yourself in seconds.
Yeah.
You can harm indirectly a place you are working in, or the other way around. But
absolutely.
How can we really draw this fine line between being honest and direct about my condition or exploiting the others because I have this condition?
Yeah, I think that's a really
it's hard to match
challenging question
with contracts and deals and agreements.
Yes. So my thoughts on this are that we need protection for the employer, so the organization, and the employee. We need both. Because I've worked in this field before where I've been part of grievances that have been put up against organizations because the employee feels like the employer has mistreated them based on the fact that they may have been off on sick leave or mental health issues and so forth. So it's complicated. And it takes a long time to process and make sense of who's right and who's wrong and who had the right policy in place.
The type of investigation is not clear.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It's hard a bit.
It's tricky. Yes. But what I would say, so going back to your question around how can organizations protect themselves from employees who could potentially abuse
a certain case or a condition.
Yes. Yeah.
And trying, of course, and I'm talking about this era of saying it everywhere, and make the institution quite like silently threaten to approach any solution that is not convenient to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where you need to have a very thorough approach to how you're handling people's health, and I'm using health as an umbrella term to include mental health as well. When you have professionals involved in assessing and tracking the employee's health, you have then an unbiased opinion that's involved. So this is where, and again, I've worked in this space before, it's occupational health. So health at work. What does that actually look like from an unbiased position? Because at the moment, across the region, we have access to healthcare, but healthcare doesn't have a clue of what is our workplace like, how does it impact us physically and psychologically. But this is where the discipline, which is a separate medical discipline, branch of medicine, that looks at how does work help or hinder us? Because it can do both psychologically and physically. And if an organization has an occupational health service, the job of the occupational health service is to assess and monitor that employee So let's say, Rima, you turn up and we know that you've got a diagnosable health condition, physical health condition, and a mental health issue as well.
Yes.
We know this from the beginning. We've seen you and we've assessed you and we've gathered the data. We've got a full understanding of where you're at. And then over time, you start to struggle physically and psychologically for whatever reason. That's when the occupational health team would come in and look at what's happening. They would build a relationship with you to understand what's going on, but they would also start to gather evidence and understand what's happening from an organizational perspective as well. Their job is to try and do what's best for both the employer, the organization, and the employee. And it's difficult. It's never easy. So they don't side with either. They say, okay, based on Rima's condition now, because it's deteriorated, and the reason why it's deteriorated, we think it's because of the fact that she's under a lot of pressure. Her line manager has been bullying towards her. This is what we've gathered and understood. We think now that in order for Rima to be in her best self, we feel like she needs to move to a different department, or we need to engage her in rehabilitation, or whatever, these are the recommendations.
Because you're talking about two main components in the heart of, everything is in the heart of media now. Everything. It's another type of pressure or blessing. I still don't know what it is exactly. Because it can be used both ways.
Yes.
We are all components in the heart of social media.
Yes.
In the heart of people judging before knowing all the details.
Correct.
In the heart of sometimes authorities taking action towards one of us before having a clear picture.
Correct.
This is all stressful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And you talked about social media and how actually dangerous it is.
It affects the workplace even.
Media full stop,
Yes.
right? Of how it can impact a person's reputation, but also an organization's reputation.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. So again, reputation is so important for organizations. It's a bit like, I want to buy a product, whether it's my phone or whether it's my outfit, from an organization that has a good reputation. Yeah. If I believe in their values and their ethics, I will buy from them. And again, this is what I'm saying, that we've evolved now. It's not about what's the cheapest product and can I afford it. I mean, some people, of course, will be looking at that, but Gen Z are thinking more about that. They're thinking more about, what does this organization represent?
Even they are free from brands. Most
exactly.
of them are free from brands.
They buy locally, right?
They don't buy expensive. They don't buy cheap sometimes, but they don't buy expensive all the time.
And this is where now the control is no longer of the organization. There is now more control of the employee or the job seeker. The job seeker interviews you, the organization. They will assess you from the moment they click open website.
Yes.
And say, is this an organization that I see myself working for?
And this game of the social media, even if you are shifting a bit from the subject, even institutions now are impressed by certain employees, by what they do, and they feel that they add a lot by having accounts with lots of followers or certain contents. I mean, it does affect your whole image.
Correct.
And if you belong to this place, it will affect the image of this place.
Correct.
Sometimes that's why there are certain restrictions not to post what to do, what not to do.
Yes.
Because you're part of this institution.
Correct.
Okay, if I'm restricted or I'm managed in a way that I'm forbidden to do some stuff, I should be respected and able to do things in a better, healthy environment, at least.
Yes.
You're giving me your conditions and but you have to give me something back.
In return.
Yes.
Absolutely. This is it. So this is where we're talking about value. That actually we as job seekers or employees should recognize our own value and what we bring to the organization as well. It's no longer, I need a job. It's which employer or organization is going to get the best out of me. And if it's not an organization, how can I get the best out of myself by creating, a product or a service? Not everybody's designed to work for organizations. Some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us are freelancers, some of us are consultants and want to do our own thing. that's okay. But it's about recognizing where do you thrive and creating that.
And also it's about the organization, knowing how
Absolutely.
can I take the best out of this employee? What
Exactly.
can I give him as tools of importance so I can take more of him for my sake
Absolutely.
and my interest at the end?
Absolutely.
I think these questions are not there yet.
No, they're emerging, and again the picture is complex. So, let's say, for example,
And the market makes it hard for you to
Oh my
ask
God.
for even your least rights.
No,
The market is hard. People are jobless. They have to find something.
yes,
At the end, regardless of, they see this mental health issue sometimes as a luxury. There is a lot of people like this.
I agree. I do see that, and we have to recognize that sometimes we just have to take a job because we need to keep a roof over our heads.
But having an affected mental health is really like a silent cancer.
It is.
It is like it's that important. We're not sensing how much it's damaging, by the way. We're not sensing this, that it can hit all aspects of life.
And look, I'm not here to say we want to eradicate mental health challenges. I firmly believe that these challenges that we face psychologically are part of our growth. That if we didn't have them, we would live a very boring life. We have to experience challenge. We have to experience struggle.
Problems, clashes, conspiracies at work. We have to. We grow like this.
Yes.
We grow our muscles if we fight better.
Exactly.
Yes.
We have to grow from this. And, you know, I use this term, pain and suffering is part of life. The moment we're born, we can't expect our life to be just happiness. Again, that's clearly wrong. But being challenged is healthy. But also thinking about the layers of who's responsible and why. We're responsible for how we respond and act. That's within our control. The organization or our, let's say our line managers, they have responsibility to take care of us and adhere to the organizational, policies and regulations. And then similarly, the organization needs to set a precedent. They need to set clear guidelines and say, look, this is how we lead. This is how we want to show up in the world. And then on a broader scale, society, governments, they need to protect organizations and employees.
But this can be explained through steps that are practical, that are easily implemented.
But implementation is obviously the first step. Then it's adherence. How do we keep people accountable? How do we keep reminding people that, okay, today's a really difficult day at work. My boss had a go at me. How do I keep going? What is it I can do in that moment? What is my boss thinking at that time? And what should they then reflect on? Do you see? It's the moment to moment. It's the granular stuff that it's the day to day that we see and feel. We talk about the invisible because it is invisible.
Yes.
It might be written in policy and regulation, but in the moment to moment, only we know what that feels like when we're ignored, left out, when our name isn't included on something.
On a mission, on a hard work. We've talked about workplace. You mentioned how leaders should work, should they think, how should they reward their staff. You mentioned also the boundaries regarding the employees, how not to use the abuse, how to be honest about their case, and how to treat each other regardless of the generation gap. But I would love to hear from you. What should we talk to people that are raising kids? Because it starts from home. Feeling the other starts from home. Even if we're talking about corporate stuff and business and all that. It starts from rivalry between siblings that sometimes it's enhanced by parents, encouraged by parents. I would love you more if you do this. I would love you less if you do that. And you're better than your brother. You're better than your sister. What do we bring from home as complexes to the workplace?
You think about your childhood and how it's shaped you into who you are today. And only if you are aware of your patterns, of the things that trigger you or make you feel a certain way, will you then be able to understand that a lot of that comes from childhood. So it's challenging. And just to add that our parents, they did the best jobs they could based on what they had.
And what
So
they
it's not
knew
about
at that time, yes.
Exactly. So then it is for the job of the parent who is aware, who understands maybe a little bit more than their own parents, to start to shape and change things in the way that they then affect their children. Now, nobody is perfect. I'm a psychologist, and I know I'm not the perfect mom. I know that. I've made mistakes. I continue to make mistakes till this day. But it's that essence of repairing the rupture, as we say. It's that stepping back and thinking, oh gosh, I just shouted, or I raised my voice, or I said something that actually probably wasn't the best thing. How do I now change that? And sometimes I might not be even aware of it, that I've done something to upset my children.
Teaching them to communicate would make it easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's got to be safe.
And as you said, that problems are essential and crucial in growing and dealing with them.
Yeah.
They make us strong. I mean, those happily silly people, they're not aware. I don't think they're happy even.
They're
You cannot be happy
It's
if
a
you
mask.
didn't experience all this. Yes, that's the mask.
It's a mask.
You talked also about, I will raise an issue that might be funny, but it is there. Sometimes the couple's issue.
Oh.
I need to know if my wife works around successful men. Why is she late at work? She cannot do this job because she needs to travel a lot. I don't want her to do this because of that. Even if she goes later on, she carries a certain weight with her. She needs to make the reassurance daily too. And the other way around.
Yeah.
Women that have sometimes spies within companies where their husbands work, or if they are surrounded or something.
Yeah.
This also can create the hidden load that you're carrying inside and make you appear as if you're not quite normal when dealing with others.
Yeah. You know, this is it, isn't it? It's the classic case of...
It's there.
We think that we come to work without baggage, that we, leave all our problems at the door of the office door, and then we walk in and everything's fine. It's not true. We carry that backpack right into work, onto our desks, and it's there with us. As much as we try and bat it off, it's there because it's important to us. So these challenges that we face within our personal lives are very much present in our professional lives. And what the important aspect of this that we should be doing is becoming self-aware. Some of us, we don't even know that we're doing this sort of, jealous, anxious type behavior. It's only when we start to recognize, why am I feeling so uncomfortable? Why am I feeling so jealous? Ask yourself that question and then start to do the work around that. Because again, these are patterns that have stemmed from our childhood, often enough, and shaped by, again, experiences that we've had as we've been growing up as adults. So this is up to us to recognize. You can't expect your partner or your workplace or your colleagues or your family to do this for you. No, this is your work that you need to do. You need to start to understand yourself as a human being fundamentally. What makes you feel upset? What gives you joy? And again, we're not going to stay the same person throughout our life. We're going to change. We're going to grow. And that's beautiful too at the same time. That depending on what phase of life we're in, whether we're learning about our career and what we want to become, or when we're coming out of, motherhood and we are now seeing our children go off to university, that's going to have an impact on us. All of these life events will continually shape us and give us new things to think about and give us new opportunities to grow. So it's not necessarily about, when I was 20, I was like that, and I expect myself to stay the same when I'm 40.
Yes.
It's not the case. It never is the case. It's about recognizing that you've got to not constantly, but from time to time, check in. Where am I at now? What is it that I need?
Am I still the person that admires himself or herself?
Yeah.
Am I still okay from the inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you start asking yourself those deep questions, that's
I'm
when
still
the
loving
answers,
me or not.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And that will reveal. That will, and often that kind of behavior that you touched on, it's often as a consequence of something innately not being right with us. We're
Yes.
not comfortable in ourselves for whatever reason, which causes that.
I want you to talk to the owners, the organizations, the institutions, to give them an advice that is really that you feel is really important and still not realized by them. If we can say advice coming from a psychologist.
Okay.
And another one for the employees.
Yeah.
To both parties. Since we're talking since we're talking about conditions at workplace and clashes at workplace.
Yeah.
And maybe if you can tell me what is the most comfortable deal that I can do?
Okay.
If I'm here or there.
Okay. So when I think about organizations, I see the most successful ones are the ones that are led by humans that have been through profound life-changing experiences. So what I mean by that is that often the CEO has had something that has changed them psychologically. They have realized that the human experience and how we are treated is really, really important. Whether that be through loss or whatever, I don't know. But you see that, you hear that in their story, and you hear that in their mission, and you hear that in their values. Now, once the people at the top are talking about this and living and breathing this, the organization as a whole will trickle down into the DNA of the organization. It will allow people to connect with the CEO in a way that is more than just making money.
Yes.
And what it will also do is attract like-minded people that come on that same mission with them about what they believe. And this is why, you talk about media and social media, this is why it's so important for CEOs or people who are in, these positions of leadership to be personable, to tell a story and share their insights and connect not only with the people in the outside world via social media, but also their employees. Be visible, keep inspiring, and keep connecting.
It's an effort needed by everybody.
And be real.
Yes.
Be real. Be a human. And I know that this word, how can I be more authentic at work? We have to try. We have to start to explain to people that I'm more than just a psychologist. I am a mother too. I'm a daughter. I have good days. I have bad days. I have days where I worry. I have days where I am so passionate. There are days where I feel hopeless. So it's about bringing the multi-faceted aspects of ourselves into the workplace. Even though it's not always appropriate, like you don't want people to be crying all the time or whatever, but we've also got to remind ourselves that we are still human, and it's okay to have, bad days.
What's the perfect deal? Give me one clause that I should look at.
Is accept that we are all humans at the end of the day.
This is mentioned in contracts and deals?
No.
I mean, the legal contract that I'll be looking at as a boss, which clause should be the most important? And as an employee, which clause should be the most important? Those that reflect the values of the company, or those that reflect my financial condition in this company, or those that talk about when leaving the job, if I'm getting paid or not, I'm insured or not. What should be the most important value behind the clause that I should be looking at, if you want?
I'm going back to the word safety.
Yes. Am I safe here? Am I safe here?
Yeah, because safety covers all aspects, right?
Yes.
Financial, social, psychological. Is this company doing whatever it takes to keep me safe?
Do you think other authorities should come in? I mean, all this market, these markets, or all this market, having all these organizations dealing with the same type of agreements all the way that are really that look like each other. Each agreement they look like each other.
Same.
Same. You're reading the same statements. Your rights are this. Your duty are that.
Yeah.
Should there be any policy that should be followed by everybody, or any objective that should be set by a higher authority for everybody? Are certain communities more successful at that now? Is Europe, for example, better than our region here?
I think on paper, yes. I think that Europe and the US on paper show that they're doing the right thing. So let's say, for example, when you were talking, what came into my mind was how the World Health Organization stipulate that mental health is no longer a nice to have, it's a fundamental human right. So if you think about what that looks like in organizations, access, the ability to have positive mental health within the organization is a fundamental human right.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in.
It says it all. Thank you, Tina.
You're very welcome.
It was lovely talking to you this morning.
Oh,
I learned a lot
amazing.
from what you said.
Thank you so much, Rima. I love it. Thank you for being such a great host.
Thank you. Hopefully this environment will go to really a place where it respects this need. It's a crucial, vital need to look at mental health in such an important way.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.